Very good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Today is Thursday, May 21st, 2026. Wait, how is it possible that May is just like flying by? It feels like just yesterday May began and now May is almost gone because we have Memorial Day weekend coming. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234 to kick things off. Meteorologist Mike Favetta and the forecast near you. And Mike, what a difference a day makes in
It
temperature-wise.
really does. And this week feels like it's been crawling, whereas the month is speeding by. The week is just going oh so slow. And it must be that rain that kind of, for the forecast ahead into this weekend, may not make it look so pretty around here, especially with all of the storms that came through last night. Very gusty winds. Now we're left with the clouds this morning and more rain on the way. It's knocking on our door. So while it may not be raining right now in your town in New Jersey, there's still a few on the way. No more heat alerts. Those are expired from yesterday, so that's some good news. And now that temperatures are starting to cool down, with that, we'll see the round of rain return probably in the next few hours across northern New Jersey, make it through the morning rush dry, just cloudy, and then these showers linger in through this evening into tonight. We get another round by tomorrow afternoon. You can see them here right along the front with some breaks of sun in northern New Jersey, but the rest of the state staying cloudy. So heading down the shore tomorrow, a favorite New Jersey pastime going on Friday afternoon there for Memorial Day holiday. Plenty of cloud cover and showers and even more wet weather on the way throughout our Saturday morning, starting off our weekend wet with Sunday. You guessed it. More rain, and this rain is going to linger at least for the second half of the weekend. At the least, you see all of this wet weather stretching down to the Midwest, even another round coming out across the Rockies. So it's just shower after shower that gives us some wet weather into this weekend. We'll time it out with the long range forecast and give you a hint about Monday's weather, because Monday's looking a little wet even as we head into the actual holiday. Take a look at what happens here by Friday afternoon into Saturday. We have our next round of rain comes through, and then with that, a quick burst comes in for Sunday evening. Now, Monday may start to clear out, especially in the afternoon with some breaks of sun, but will it be beautiful and sunny? Looking unlikely, because we're kind of seeing that rain stubbornly stick around even through Monday evening, Ken. So we'll give you more details on that and take another look at the forecast coming up.
I don't know about stubbornly in my life. I have no idea what stubbornly is, but
The weather's a
now,
Taurus this weekend.
so it has, as far as I could remember, it's like Memorial Day is always kind of cloudy,
Every
rainy, cool,
single
and
one.
damp.
It's so true. Yeah.
Is it Pam? Is she the one with the connections to like the cool, damp, whatever? I don't understand that, but it's yeah. It's Pam is saying, yeah, yeah. Tell me, blame me. Yeah, but it's true because as far back I could remember, all the years, even at Channel 7, and it was 20 years of doing Memorial Days. It was always cloudy,
Yeah.
rainy, etc.
Hmm.
So July 4th, not so much. Most of the July 4th weekends are always hot and
Yeah.
with rare exception, just a few exceptions, sunny. We've had a great stretch of 4th of Julys, but not so much Memorial Days. But I guess in the grander scheme, if you had to substitute one for the other, I guess that would be the better one, right? Take one
And
for
it's
the other
funny
like
because,
that.
back in March, we had the 80-degree heat. In April, 90-degree heat. And here we are coming up on the end of May with cloudy, cool, chilly weather.
Yeah, well, there you have it. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. Hey, let me just tell Pam, Pam, be ready to take the 7:45 block. That's what we'll do. Okay. You got that, Pam? Yes. That's a yes. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that as a yes. All right, thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, sir. Um, we have a lot of traffic to talk about right now. 60 degrees, by the way, northern New Jersey. It is, let's see what we got here. We got 59 degrees in Trenton, 62 degrees Los Angeles, 61 degrees now in San Diego. In terms of traffic, we have down wires on US 1, both directions south of Woodbridge Avenue, Edison. All lanes are closed. Route 29, we have a utility pole down in both directions, north of Fiddler's Creek Road, Hopewell Township. All lanes are closed with that. Also on US 1, we have another situation of downed wires on South Brunswick. In South Brunswick Township, the right shoulder is closed there. So we have two issues, pardon me, on US 1 of downed wires in two different locations. And then we have on US 9, Route 9, we have a downed pole It is southbound, north of Sunrise Boulevard in Lacey Township. All lanes are closed there. The Hudson River crossings, if we take a look right now, the Hudson River crossings are looking kind of meds and meds, if you will. You go to the Lincoln and Holland, they're both going to cost you about 25 to 30 in. Go to the GWB PAM if you have it. And the upper and lower levels right now, 8095 approach, bumper to bumper. The upper level on the right, lower on the left. Usually, what happens is on the Thursday, everybody gets out of Dodge. Watch, tomorrow will be empty. There will be no traffic, but today everybody's getting out of Dodge. It's going to be an absolute mess, I guarantee. To California, we have an issue with a traffic collision in central LA on the 110 at the 43rd Avenue off ramp. There's also a collision in Altadena on the 134, and we have a traffic collision in central at the 60 where it connects with I-5. 6 minutes past the hour, and this Memorial Day, communities across New Jersey will gather to honor the brave men and women who gave their lives in service to our country. And we recognize the veterans and organizations working every single day to support those who served. The New Jersey Veterans Network provides free resources for veterans throughout the state, helping connect them with critical services. Michael Bull is the president of the New Jersey Veterans Network and New Jersey Veterans of Foreign Wars Volunteers in Service to America. He's also a former Marine, although you are always a Marine, as my dad and stepdad were and are. We thank you very much for your service, and good morning to you, Michael.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Should I give you a booyah for my dad? He sends
It's
you out a
Ura, Ura.
hoorah. I'm sorry. See that? This is why I was not. I did not serve. He was my dad is still 95 and a half, and he's very, very still has the flags. I say flags, the Marine flag. He has, of course, the US flag outside. And he's very, very proud Marine. So thank you for your service.
You tell him Semper Fi when you see him, sir.
I will see him in a few hours. I promise to do that. And today, the NJVN members are taking part in parades, placing flags on the graves of fallen heroes across New Jersey. So those traditions are so meaningful. Tell people who just don't get it why it's so important.
We honor our fallen. That is really one of the most important things that we're able to do, show respect. And also, it helps the families. Sometimes the families get neglected and forgotten. So we include the families, we show them that we still love them and really get them part of our projects and our events. So we really include everybody that really wants to help our veterans.
And we just lost my father-in-law in December. A very, very proud Marine. You had to see the setup outside his and my mother-in-law's home in Florida, and the flags still proudly fly there. But he, only 66, passed away in December. But just a very, very proud, proud person. This will be the first Memorial Day for my mother-in-law, and I feel for her. Because they used to go and visit the cemeteries. He is buried in a national cemetery in Florida. For people you work with, how impacted are they on a day like this? This must really hit home for them.
Yeah, Memorial Day is a pretty rough day. We make sure that we call all our veterans that have had some difficulties in the past. One of the things that we preach is on Veterans Day, call a veteran, talk to a veteran, tell them that you care about them and love them. I feel that that has a lot of impact and will help that veteran get through some hard times, especially on Memorial Day.
Especially. And for people, it even amazes me that people confuse Veterans Day with Memorial Day, or, they don't understand that Memorial Day, we remember the people who fought and died. And Veterans Day, we remember vets currently serving or previously. And it's okay. You could think of that either time, and that's fine. But just understand this is specifically meant as a holiday for those people who died to protect us. And how many people are willing to say, go ahead, take my life so that we could have this way of life in America, different from any other country on the planet. And people who forget that, it's really insulting to my soul. And I didn't serve, so I can imagine how it must impact you and people who did serve and risk their lives. So talk more about the mission of the New Jersey Veterans Network and the support that you provide all year long.
So we aggressively seek out veterans in need and really provide them any kind of resources. We've been able to provide 60 cars, feed thousands of veterans, house them. But the most important thing we do is save lives with our recreational therapy programs. We are able to get veterans off the couches and get them active and give them a purpose again. So really that's where we thrive. We want to help veterans live a better life, give them a new mission, and work with other groups. That's very important. We really find the other groups that have a common mission, and work together to help veterans get through the times that are difficult. So we're very fortunate to have wonderful people that work with us and really do care and love our veterans.
And what are some of the issues that the veterans are encountering as they return to civilian life? Is there something very specific today versus, say, when we came back from Vietnam, which was a very different time, obviously, with America hating veterans, not even knowing why. They just had a cause in their mind. Today, it's a little bit different, right? But what they do have their own unique challenges when they come back. Come back.
I think for the Afghanistan and the Iraqi war veterans, they had a very difficult time. It was a very long war, and people just forgot about it. So I feel that they felt the same symptoms that a Vietnam vet went through, not as much as being hated, just that negative stigma towards them. They're having a really difficult time, and like people don't understand, we lose 22 veterans each day. So we really work hard on helping these veterans, the ones that are coming home, showing them that there's people that care for them. The Vietnam veterans are the wonderful. They really reach out and want to show more empathy than any other veterans that I've seen so far.
And the things that they saw, well, most veterans, those who served, saw things that I know my dad didn't want to talk about stuff. We won't, but it's incredible what they have to live with. And for those right now who are watching, who feel isolated or unsure where to turn, what would you say to them right now this morning? What's the first thing they should do?
One thing is make sure you reach out and know that there's people out there that love and care for you and take that opportunity and do something with it. It is difficult to make that first step, but it's worth it. It'll change your life and get you in a better frame of mind and live a better life yourself because of you've done that.
Amen to that, brother. Michael Bohl, president of New Jersey Veterans Network and New Jersey Veterans of Foreign Wars, Volunteers in Service to America, former Marine, I should just say that. We hope that you have a meaningful Memorial Day and that people realize what a special day this is. And it's not just a day for fun in the sun. There's a reason why we have that day. Thank you, sir, for your service, and thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me, and God bless the United States of America.
Amen. Amen to that. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
13 minutes past the hour. When we return, we're going to talk with the author of the new book, Authentic, an old school approach to building a full life, successful business, and real relationships. And meteorologist Mike Favetta's Memorial Day forecast when we come back in 2. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Thursday live in New Jersey and New York. We now welcome our friends in Los Angeles and San Diego, and of course, our newest channel, ONFLA, in Florida at 15 minutes past the hour. We will take calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the forecast near you. And Mike, 24 hours ago, I seem to remember the temperature being about 12 degrees warmer right now than it
Mhm.
is right now.
Yeah.
So what on earth? We're not talking a little front that went through. We're talking big. And there was a point when I thought we were going to get dumped on, and we just got a little spritz last night. It got dark and windy, and I was like, "Oh, thunderstorm."
Yeah, there were
But
some parts of the
some
state that got
yeah.
hammered with some storms. Others, not so much, but those storms developed a little bit later as they moved eastward, dumping more than 2 inches of rain in just about 2 hours. So impressive amounts of rainfall, the thunder, the lightning, that was all with the front, which is now offshore. For the rest of the day today, just kind of cloudy and cool, especially with some weather that starts to work its way back in with some showers by the overnight into tomorrow. You see, even into Saturday, more rain comes in, and this wet weather is just one after the next. This round of rain that keeps on going. Even Sunday looks wet as well. Monday likely still has some clouds lingering. It's the better day of the, well, best day of the 3 days this weekend, and including the holiday weekend where you have just the clouds around with some spotty sprinkles. But the good news, and there is some good news, is that one, the heat is gone, but the pollen is also gone too. We're back down to the moderate level. None of those very high levels of allergens, including the trees and grasses, which have dipped quite a bit over the last few hours thanks to those heavy rains last night. Then out west, nice and clear, staying gorgeous into the weekend. We'll tell you more about that with another check of your forecast, Ken, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, Pam and I were just talking about our situation last night too, with the passing dark clouds at
Yeah.
around 6:30, but yet passed right by. But I'm sure somebody within 8 miles of us got dumped on. So that's for sure. You can just see. And plus the fact of the traffic I'm about to talk about, there are down poles and down wires. So that's definitely a direct
A lot of
impact
that
of
too.
that
Yep.
last night. Yeah. All right, Mike. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it as always. 60 degrees right now, much more comfortable, although it's damp. At this early hour, 18 minutes past the hour, it's 60 in northern New Jersey, 59 in Trenton, off to the West Coast, 62 in Los Angeles, and 62 now in San Diego. In terms of traffic, we have a lot of issues. We have a disabled vehicle right now, Outer Bridge Crossing, westbound midspan, Perth Amboy, right lane is blocked. That's going to cause a mess. We have downed wires, US 1, two different locations. First off, in both directions, south of Woodbridge Avenue, Edison, all lanes are closed. Here's one of the cases of down wires. Look at that mess right there. So now you don't have a lot. This is the Woodbridge one, which is the second one I'm about to tell you about. No, that is the first one, Woodbridge Avenue, Edison. The second one is down wires US 1 southbound from south of Raymond Road to south of Ridge Road in South Brunswick with the right shoulder closed. So that's two different Route 1 issues. Just understand as you're driving along, if you see wires down, there we go. Thank you, Pam. If you see, Pam is so good with that. If you see wires down anywhere, just please avoid the area. You don't know if it's a live wire. You never want to drive over a wire. And if you are not positive, and we're never positive if it's alive or not, you could absolutely kill yourself. So don't do that. Route 29 right now, utility pulled down both directions north of Fiddler's Creek Road, Hopewell Township. All lanes are closed. And that was 29. And then on Route 9, there's a utility pulled down southbound north of Sunrise Boulevard, Lacey. All lanes are closed right now there. We have problems on the Hudson River crossings now. If we have the Holland Tunnel approach, Pam, yeah, there we go. Thank you. You can see bumper to bumper cars there approaching the middle tube. You can see those cars coming at you, and that's only moving about 5 miles an hour at best, if. That's going to cost you a solid 35 minutes into Manhattan. Lincoln Tunnel, much better at 20 to 25. And the GWB, upper and lower levels, heavy this morning for this early hour. That is pretty heavy. You'll see the upper level on the right, lower on the left, total amount in about 40 minutes. To Los Angeles, a quick couple of mentions. We have a collision at this early hour. Mind you, it's only 4:20 a.m. in LA. And in central LA, we have a collision on the 101 at North Vermont Avenue, another collision in West LA on the 10 at National Boulevard. And then we have a collision that just happened in central LA at the 110 and Avenue 43 off ramp. 20 minutes past the hour, and joining us now, William Barrett, CEO of Mandelbaum Barrett PC and author of the new book, Authentic: An Old School Approach to Building a Full Life, Successful Business and real relationships. Good morning to Bill. Good to have you on.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Aren't you glad you're not stuck in that traffic?
I sure am. I've never been a big fan from working from home, but today I'm glad that I am.
So you know what? I spent 25 years day to day going in and out of Manhattan, but I was fortunate enough to do it at 3 a.m. when none of that existed. So I look at that and I think, how on earth do people do that day to day? It's crazy. Well, what made you want to write the book at this time?
So, it's interesting. When my dad passed away about 19 years ago, I always felt that he had a profound impact on my life. And I said that I wanted to write a book about him. At the time, I was 35 years old. And I'd like to say that I waited, but 19 years of procrastination, I think, actually served me well. Because the perspective you have on a life well lived is different when you're 54 versus 35. I think, your perspective changes a bit. So I was inspired years ago. And then finally, about 15 months ago, I started putting pen on paper and got started.
And what was it like? What was that process like? Did you have to kind of make an appointment with yourself? Because I've talked to people who've written books. Some of them say, "Yep, every day from 4 to 6, that was book writing time." Others say, "No, I would go away for 2 weeks on vacation, and that was book writing time." How did you do? What was your method?
As the managing partner of a law firm, it's very difficult to have a predictable life. So I just tried to make a commitment to myself that I was going to find an hour or so every week. And some weeks it worked, some weeks it didn't. Probably the most prolific session I had was when I got stranded in the Denver airport and missed a flight. And for 7 hours, I sat in the United Lounge and all of a sudden just started banging away on the keyboard. So you almost don't know when it's going to hit you or you're going to have the opportunity or the inspiration, but you do it when you have the opportunity to do it. But you just have to keep a pattern of consistency.
Wow, that's dedication, and good things come to those who wait. Clearly, now the title is authentic. What does authenticity mean to you in business today?
Yeah, I think, part of what I realized in the process of writing the book is that we've really gotten away from the fundamentals in maybe in life and in business. And I think that what it really means to be authentic um, at its core is to invest in human relationships and make real relationships a priority, and being a hero to other people and being present and giving of yourself and just not everything being instant gratification. I talk a lot about people today being too transactional and less transformational. And I think we need to get back to being transformational. And that's why I'm glad I procrastinated for 19 years, because I think that these messages, these old school values are very timely right now.
In the 19 years, you accumulated a lot of wisdom that you could impart in that book, and so for real, it's a think about it. 19 years ago, you were a very different person from what you are today, and think of all the stories, all the cases, all the people you've met as an attorney or just in business, and how that impacted what you wrote down on paper.
Without a doubt, and it's a great point, because when I started the book, it was really all going to be about a tribute to my dad, and that is still the case. But what you realize is you not only start to realize the impact it had on you personally, but then the common thread that wove together for me was I've been blessed to be an attorney for entrepreneurs for nearly 3 decades. So I started thinking about all the most successful people that I've had the pleasure and been blessed to work with over the years. And I started to realize this common thread, that the most successful people I represented, who also not only financially successful, but who really seemed to have full lives, they had these same values. So it allowed me to actually not just tell stories about my dad, of which there's an abundant amount of stories, but also to bring in real life examples of people that I've had the chance to meet during these years, and be just so impressed by who they were as people and entrepreneurs, and to share some of the stories and how they were authentic and possessed these old school values.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I mean, having been in the business, working in ABC and Fox News for years, and Fox 5, I should say, in New York, um, the people I've met also, there is that in common. What the wealthiest of people, first of the people I've met who are super wealthy are some of the nicest people. People think, oh, they're greedy, nasty, wealthy. No, some of the people, these are the most generous, most giving of their time, professional, and they have a very steady way. But you could tell that their brain works in a compartmentalized, managed fashion. They don't just roll out of bed when they want to roll out of bed and do what they want to do. And they have a very methodical way about their lives. That's what I've encountered, and I don't know if that's similar for you, but they do have purpose in their lives, and there is a reason why they roll out of bed in the morning. Have you encountered that?
Without a doubt, because I think that that if you reach that level of success, you are a relationship driven person. And I think that when they get out of bed every day, they're trying to move the needle, not just for themselves, but for other people, whether it's the people they serve, whether it's the people who work for them. And it really all comes back again to investing time in people and investing, because I've said that if you really want to know what a person cares about, look at their calendar, not their checkbook. And I
Mhm.
don't mean by that, we need people, especially those who are the most fortunate among us, to be generous with dollars. I think that that is important, and we should all give back. But when it's not that hard to write a check, all right? I'm not trying to
Mhm.
minimize it, but it's not that hard to write a check. But if you really want to know if someone cares about you, whether it's a cause or you as a human being, whether you're an employee, you're a customer, you're a client, look at their calendar. How do they spend their time? Because their time is their most valuable thing, and that's how you learn a lot about a person's character.
Amen to that. Well, listen, you run one of the most powerful, most influential, best known law firms in the entire state of New Jersey. Clearly, you're doing something right. Give everybody your website to buy the book or to get more information, even on the law firm.
Sure, we're at mblawfirm.com, like Mandelbaum Barrett, mblawfirm.com. And the book is available anywhere that you get your books, whether on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. And, I'm just really kind of grateful for the opportunity to be on the show. And I hope that your listeners enjoy reading the book as much as I enjoyed writing it.
Amen to that. And you know what? It would be a great thing to do for Memorial Day weekend, too. William Barrett, CEO of Mandelbaum Barrett PC, one of the biggest law firms in the fine state of New Jersey, author of the new book, Authentic and Old School Approach to Building a Full Life, Successful Business, and Real Relationships. Thank you so much for coming on today. Best of luck with the book.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. It is 29 minutes past the hour. When we come back, we'll speak with the parents of a child born with a rare liver disease and how they dealt with that. We'll be back in 2. very good morning. 31 minutes past the hour, Thursday, May 21st, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on the East Coast and the West now. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a forecast near you and a lot cooler. We're talking about temps in the low 60s versus temps in the mid 90s, all in a matter of a day or two difference. That's crazy.
And they stay there, Ken. It's not like it's just a one-day brief cool down. We are stuck in the 40s for tomorrow morning in northern New Jersey, only climbing to the 50s and pretty much staying in the 60s this afternoon. Pam is all excited about this. She loves the cold weather. But yeah, when it comes with some, cooler temperatures, even as cool as you would find maybe in Northern California, it's not necessarily New Jersey beach weather for the unofficial start of summer. So you see all the clouds, you see all the showers here across the Northeast. It is wet and will stay that way, especially with some more rain returning later on this afternoon into this evening. And this line of showers just keeps on moving toward us over the next several days, just in time for tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday, and yes, even into Monday. So we are done with the record highs. Out west we go. You see all this cold front start to sweep through, providing some dry weather for the West Coast. And it's this wet weather that really stays offshore. All of the rain is not going to be over land. It stays over the ocean and remains there. So the dry weather persists, desert-like conditions. Even with that, the weather just remains dry and sunny right down toward the coast here, with a little bit of a marine layer coming back by the end of the weekend. So it stays wet. There's not a whole lot of sunshine around. This is the cool trend that we've come to know around here in New Jersey for the holiday. We've got more details on how the longer range forecast looks because, Ken, there is some milder weather on the way. It takes about 6 days to get here, but with that, some sunshine too in the forecast scheduled for next Tuesday. So we have a while before we get to that warm, sunny
Wow.
weather again. I know.
Wow. Wow, that is a
Yep,
stretch. My
it
goodness.
is.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Yeesh. Pam is very happy. You see, Pam is connected. Pam is a big prayer. So I think Pam has talked to the Lord above and said, bring back my chilly weather, please, 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 please. And God's like, God rolls the eyes and says, all right, Pam. So I think that's what happens. She says 99 is too hot. I'll give you that, Pam. But it shouldn't be 60 when we have June around the corner. Just call me crazy. All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, sir. It is 60 degrees right now, northern New Jersey. It is 59 in Trenton to the West Coast to our California viewers today. 62 in Los Angeles, 62 also in San Diego. In terms of traffic, we have a couple of issues right now still happening. Down wires, US 1, both directions south of Woodbridge Avenue, Edison Township. All lanes are closed. You can see the wire across the road there. Thankfully, it looks like people are listening and taking different roadways. It looks like nothing, but normally that would be very trafficked at this hour. So they have blocked off traffic from about a half a mile before that, which is why it looks empty. Normally, again, that would be bumper to bumper right now. Over to we have another US 1 is issued not too far away either. Down wires, US 1 southbound south of Raymond Road to south of Ridge Road, South Brunswick, with the right shoulder closed, and that's what you have there. You can see the right shoulder being closed with the sign up. Over to Route 9, we have a utility pole down southbound north of Sunrise Boulevard. In Lacey Township, all lanes are closed. Again, this is all because of the storms that rolled through last night. A lot of the heavy thunderstorms and high wind knocked down wires and power poles as well. And then we have a utility pole down Route 29, both directions north of Fiddler's Creek Road, Hopewell Township. All lanes are closed. The Hudson River crossings now, the approach to the Holland Tunnel is bumper to bumper. It's about 40 minutes into the Holland Tunnel. This is Route 139. You can see on the left side of your screen, that's the right tube it takes you into, and that is coming from Route 78. The cars that are moving are going to local roads. That's why they're able to move over to the Lincoln Tunnel and GWB. Lincoln Tunnel is pretty good. Only 20 minutes in right now via the Helix. And then if you look at the GWB upper and lower level, very heavy for this early hour at 7:35, especially on the lower level on the left. Upper is on the right, and it's going to cost you 40 minutes into Manhattan, either of those sides, upper or lower. In terms of traffic in LA, only 4:36 a.m. right now on the West Coast. We have a traffic collision now in Baldwin Park. It's at the 605 and Ramona Boulevard. Also in Santa Fe Springs on the 60 at Azusa Avenue off-ramp, and a collision in central LA at the 101 and North Vermont Avenue. It is 36 minutes past the hour. Jennifer and Luigi Giacchetta, that is how we say it in Italian, the parents of Gigi Giacchetta, who was born with a rare liver disease known as PFIC. PFIC, or progressive familial intrahepatic cholestasis, ahead of this year's Liver Life Walk, New Jersey benefiting the American Liver Foundation. They are now sharing their family's journey to help raise awareness. A lot of people hadn't heard about this, but it is devastating to have your child diagnosed with this. So we say welcome and good morning to both of you.
Morning. Thank you for having us.
Good morning, Ken.
You bet. And I said to Pam, our director, I said, I don't think it's ayachetta. It's probably
No,
giacchetta, as we say in
yeah,
Italian. Being a rosato, I know a giacchetta when I see it.
yeah,
Tell
yeah.
us about Gigi, right? Tell us about Gigi and when you first realized that something was up with her health and what you did about it.
Yeah, so we always knew ever since she was born something was off with her. She was not meeting developmental milestones. She was always itchy to the point where we kept socks on her hands. And we just noticed things were off. But the pediatrician said, she's just on the smaller side. She doesn't have eczema. There were no real solutions. And then right before her first birthday, my husband noticed that her eyes were yellow, her skin was
Mm.
yellow, and we went immediately to the emergency room, which started our journey in liver disease. So, yeah, it's
Wow. And
been,
people who, even listen, I've, in all the years I'm doing TV, I've never heard of PFIC. So tell people what it is, what the condition is, and what it means day to day, how to navigate it.
yeah. So with PFIC, the liver can't remove the bile. So the bile builds up within her blood, within her body, which causes severe itching, which can destroy the liver ultimately.
That's
And
fascinating because I was going to say, I'm sorry to step on you. The liver does about 30 different things, which is amazing. And it's very resilient. So basically, it is producing the bile to help break down fats, right, for digestion,
Right.
but it's making too much and it's not processing it. And it's coming back into the liver basically and clogging it up from the
Right.
backside. But
exactly.
Yeah.
so what do you do about that? How does that get treated?
I mean, there's the only treatment solutions are there's currently two different medicines that are uh, being administered, and there's either liver replacement or a exterior bag to kind of relieve the bile from the liver, but there's really no cure yet. So,
Yeah,
and it's very new and experimental. So it's every trip to the doctor is a new experience for everybody, and everybody's learning how to treat this and manage it for a young child.
That is, and Jennifer, you were starting to say something. I'm sorry.
yeah. I was gonna say, unfortunately, the only cure right now is a liver transplant. And before we were in this world, I didn't think a transplant came with other issues. You think, okay, they get a transplant and they're cured. Well, that brings its own issues. They have no immune
Yeah.
system now for the rest of their life, so they don't reject the organ. Which, if you think of a 4 or 5-year-old going to elementary school with no immune system, that could be extremely dangerous and scary for a child and a family. So we can't live with a transplant being the only cure, which is why we have to support the research and support the American Liver Foundation to hopefully find a cure one day.
I have a very dear friend who had a liver transplant a few years ago, and I know what he goes through on a day to day. And he had the whole liver. Not some people get partial liver transplants and they grow back into a full liver, and he had the full one. But it is a not a quick solution. You're right, and it takes a
Right.
lot. You have to live for the rest of your life on tons of medications every day and be very careful. So, how has Gigi handled it? I mean, has she been the trooper and kind of battling through this?
She's such a trooper, and which has made us stronger. And I think it's really hard because she goes to the doctors, which always leads to blood work. So about every month
Mm.
to 2 months, she gets blood work which includes about 7 vials that they take out of her. And it's hard as a parent. We pull into the parking lot and you see her, she gets scared. It's really hard seeing her get scared and
Yeah, but
being
she's been
resilient.
powering through though, and she's managed to still keep a smile on her face, and so that's kind of been helping us to see a little bit of the strength in her is giving us strength. Even though she's going through all these tests and has this terrible disease, she still manages to smile and try to live life somewhat normal. So it's been kind of encouraging to watch this little girl kind of be so strong.
How old is she now?
She's almost 2. She turns 2 the end of this month.
Wow. Oh, so she's a
Yeah,
little one going through
she's
all
a
of this.
little.
And is she starting to understand what's going on? Just she's seeing the routine now, I guess?
And her newest thing, she says itchy there, and
Points.
she points to where she's itchy, and I rub her back or scratch her. And so she is aware that she's different. And, we have a 5-year-old as well, and she's aware of her sister's liver disease. And, she says when she grows up, she wants to be a liver doctor and find a cure for PFIC. But yeah, Gigi's she knows she's different, and it's hard now as a mom to hear her express that she's itchy.
Yeah, I can imagine. So
And then
how special is it that go ahead, I'm sorry, Dad.
no, I was gonna say another like significant challenge is because she's so itchy and she scratches uncontrollably. She's like, gives herself sores and starts bleeding. So when we're out in public and people see her, she's covered in blood. People give us looks like, what's going on over there? But it's just what the
It's
part
just
part of
her.
the, it's just her. It's a part of the disease, and sometimes it's explained to people, which sometimes is a little frustrating when you're having a bad day, but other times we try to spread awareness and we do explain to people, hey, it's a disease and this is one of the side effects. But that's another challenge we try to navigate through as well on a daily basis with her.
Yeah, and you're not gonna catch it, right? That must be the other thing. It's like,
Right.
"Ew, am I gonna catch
Yeah.
something?" No, you're not gonna catch
Yes.
a liver disease. Just
Yes.
give it a
Or
rest.
people,
Give it a rest.
people love
It's
to
the
make.
liver life right, God, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I was just gonna say people love to make comments when we go out, and they're like, "Oh, did she fall? Is she a little itchy?" And I'm like, "No, she has a serious liver disease."
Right.
So we're
Don't
we're
ask if you
always
don't know.
explaining it.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm sorry for that frustration, but God bless you for what you're doing. And hopefully, what you're doing with the Liver Walk will bring some kind of resolution to this. The Liver Life Walk takes place June 14th. It's in beautiful Verona Park, one of the prettiest parks in the whole. I used to live right near there, so I know it well. Registration and check in starts at 9 a.m. Jennifer and Luigi Iaqueta, the parents of Gigi Iaqueta, thank you for coming on this morning. God bless you for what you're doing, and may your daughter be well. May they find something to help her out so that she doesn't have to deal with the stresses of this.
Yes. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you for having us, Ken.
You bet. Thanks for being on. It's a tough life, and God bless them for what they're going through. 44 minutes past the hour. Meteorologist Mike Favetta is coming back with a full forecast. Don't go away. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, 46 minutes past the hour. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. It is a lot cooler right now versus yesterday at this time. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the forecast near you. Good morning, Mike. And boy, oh boy, did the temperature just go. Last night we had the storms
Yeah.
come through and cooled it all off.
Feels great. You still see the steam coming off of the ground. Okay, not really, but after so much of that hot weather yesterday, it was nice to see a good soaking rain. Got the thunder and lightning show where I am, and yet throughout this afternoon, just a quiet, kind of calm, gray day with more rain ahead. You see one line of showers coming in for this afternoon across New Jersey. Our next round of rain for tomorrow night into Saturday, and what do you know? More rain for Sunday. It's just one round after the next, with so much rain ahead of us after a good soaking last night. We have another round of these showers that return by the end of the weekend. I think Sunday is relatively just cloudy, and then Monday we may start to get a little bit of brightening of the sky, but beyond that, it stays kind of gray even until Tuesday. Wednesday is when we're back to some sunshine briefly, with that warmer weather likely returning by the middle of next week. So even the futurecast showing that front lingering offshore, more rain on the way for today, mostly southern New Jersey. And then tomorrow, northern New Jersey could actually break out into a little bit of sunshine thanks to this lovely high pressure, which starts to creep in, giving northern New Jersey a little bit of sun. Now, there's no beaches up in Morris County and Bergen County. However, you will find some showers lingering down toward the shore points throughout tomorrow evening as that rain just holds on south of 195. Then another set of wet weather comes in for Saturday, and then you see by Sunday morning, yes, more rain. But I think Monday starts to clear things out a little bit, even heading through the first few days of June, where most of the heat is in the upper Midwest. We'll try to sneak some warmer weather in here. And look at that, even through the end of May, forecasting drier than average conditions across the Northeast, with I think a big update to the drought coming in the next few minutes. Most of that severe and extreme drought is down across the Southeast, where fire season has ended and we're heading into the wet season there for Florida in the next few weeks.
All right, Mike. Wow. I love when you mention Florida. Anytime you say the word Florida makes me smile. I'm sorry. Just watch. Go ahead. Say Florida. Go ahead. So try it. Let's watch what happens.
Florida.
See that? It's like just pulling a string or whatever. It just happens automatically. But I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. As we always thank you for your wonderful job there on this Memorial Day weekend coming up, starting tomorrow. 60 degrees now. Northern New Jersey's 59 in Trenton to Los Angeles, 62 degrees, 63 now over in San Diego. So we have pretty close temperatures, both coasts. We have some problems now on US 1. This has been going on all morning since last night, actually, because of the storms that roll through. We have down wires in both directions, south of Woodbridge Avenue, Edison Township, all lanes closed. The cameras are out there now, so it could be because of the down wires. Also down wires on US 1 southbound, south of Raymond Road to south of Ridge Road in South Brunswick with the right shoulder closed. Again, that's because we don't have the camera. We had it a little while ago, but they're repairing those wires right now. Route 29, utility pole down, both directions north of Fiddler's Creek Road, Hopewell Township, all lanes closed. And Route 9, we have a utility pole down north of Sunrise Boulevard, Lacey, all lanes closed there. Your Hudson River crossings. Lincoln is now only 20 minutes, but the Holland is bumper to bumper on Route 139 from Route 78 into the Holland Tunnel. That's going to cost you about 35 to 40 minutes. Gee, I think it's, you know what, Pam, I think it's probably it's a problem coming into the station. That's where the issue is, I think. We have the GWB. We have one camera working now. GWB upper and lower is stopped. It's bumper to bumper, and that's a solid 40 to 45 minutes into Manhattan. We go to the West Coast. They don't even have cameras for us on the West Coast. How about that? We have a traffic collision, Baldwin Park on the 605 at Ramona. We have another collision, Santa Fe Springs on the 60 at Azusa Avenue off-ramp, and a crash. It just happened, Central LA on the 101 at North Vermont Avenue. It is 50 minutes past the hour. An emergency 8 p.m. curfew was implemented at Pier Village Tuesday night due to a, quote, imminent threat. Check out this video. This is actually shot. This video is viral, but it was shot by a friend of ours whose name I will not mention because I don't want to get him potentially in trouble. He's worried about us putting his name out there. He just happened to be in Long Branch, and that started to happen. If you take a look, literally hundreds and hundreds of teens in a flash mob. And this is happening all over the country. All over the country. So here's the problem. You know how they say, this is why we can't have nice things? This is why we can't have nice things. If you want to garner a reputation and then shout racism, screw you. It ain't racism. You're acting like idiots. Don't act like idiots. Everybody of any race, creed, or color is welcome anywhere. Just don't do that. Whether you are green, white, black, or orange, don't do that. They're jumping on top of cars, jumping on police cars, breaking windows, and causing mayhem. Come on. Why would you want to do that? For what? And where are your parents? So this was a pop-up event. This happened in Long Branch, and it just happened the other night. So apparently officials arrested 6 people, mostly teens and young adults, all from northern Jersey cities. So they all went down the shore and acted like a bunch of dopes. And there's no reason to act like dopes. So alerts were issued by Monmouth County authorities. They apparently issued this mandate that there be an 8 p.m. curfew. So again, this is why you can't have nice things. So the people who live in the area who want to go and enjoy a nice evening down the shore, now they can't go there because a bunch of idiots decided to riot. Okay. And yes, it wasn't just a peaceful demonstration. They were idiots rioting. So I think if you have a kid who's doing this, sit them down, have a conversation, and say, don't do this, because otherwise you will not be welcomed anywhere you go, and people are right away going to stigmatize. And for those who right now want to rush to stigmatize, don't do that, because this is one group of kids. But that's awful, and it's happening all over the country. So what do we have to do? Do we have to make it illegal to have a cell phone under the age of 21 so you can't summon flash mobs? Or do we have to better police flash mob call outs on X or whatever they're using to gather everyone together? Because clearly that's organized. That doesn't just happen organically. But that's disgusting. That is disgusting. Caused thousands and thousands of dollars in damage, terrified the people in the area, and now arrests have been made. But there's a small police department, and you got hundreds and hundreds of kids inundating the town. Knock it off. 53 minutes past the hour, the state of Tennessee will pay $835,000 to settle a free speech lawsuit. Larry Bouchard was jailed over Facebook posts about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, for what it's worth, Bouchard's an ass. He spent 37 days in jail, this tub of crap right here, because he thought it was fun to mock and basically say that it's okay to murder a human being. You could hate Charlie Kirk for whatever reason. I don't know why you'd hate a person who's simply talking about freedom and equality. But whatever. He basically was going online saying that yeah, it's okay. What's a big deal? So what? He had it coming. And so he was jailed because that sounds like a threat, right? Now it turns out it was determined that this tub of crap right there, that his free speech rights were violated. You know what? You do not have a right to shout fire in a movie theater. Free speech goes so far. And when it brings you to the line of causing riots or harm, and I guarantee that with a better lawyer, that he would be still in jail. Yes. Now I could hear the liberal lawyer friends of mine saying, no, Ken, you don't understand the First Amendment. I damn well do. I damn well do understand the First Amendment. That's what I've done for 40 years of my life. I'm a journalist. But listen, there are things you cannot say. I can't come on here and rally up a riot. Okay. That's free speech, right? No, you can't do that. And when you make it okay, when you go online on social media and make it sound okay to murder somebody, that is a problem. And if we accept that, and a circuit court is saying, yes, if this were appealed to the Supreme Court, I guarantee this tub of crap would be back in jail. So just saying. Former Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank has died. Frank was the first member of Congress to voluntarily come out as gay. There was one other member who was outed, but Barney Frank voluntarily came out. He entered the House in 1981, served until 2013. Frank helped write the Dodd-Frank banking reform law after the 2008 financial crisis. He was a strong LGBTQ rights proponent and worked to end the don't ask, don't tell policy. He also became the first sitting congressman in a same-sex marriage. Frank had been in hospice care since April. He was 86. 2 officers have sued to block the Trump administration's newly created $1.776 billion anti-weaponization fund. The fund was created through a settlement involving President Trump. Contractors working for the IRS illegally searched through President Trump's tax files and illegally released them to the New York Times in violation of IRS rules. The president had sued for over $10 billion, but accepted the lesser settlement offer. Officers Harry Dunn and Daniel Hodges were among the Capitol police officers who are working on the January 6th protests. They are Trump hating, and they made it public about that. They do not like the president. They argued that the fund could end up rewarding pardoned January 6th rioters financially. The lawsuit is seeking to block payments. The Justice Department said the fund addresses claims of government lawfare as scores of conservative protesters and politicians were the target of prosecution from the IRS and other federal agencies in what appears to be a political witch hunt against the right of this country. New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani appeared to be upset that press passes were issued to Luigi Mangione supporters. Oh, like he didn't know it happened, even though it was Mamdani's own people who issued those press passes. 3 women attended a court hearing for the accused killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in cold blood. The supporters don't deny committed the murder. They outwardly say the victim, in their words, deserved to die. Isn't that lovely that you would say that of any other human being? Mamdani said the city will review its press credentialing process. And others, look, Mamdani, just don't give it to these people. They're not real journalists. The women operated small independent media and social media accounts, and this has got to stop. People wake up the next day and they say, I'm a journalist. You know what? There's a licensure process for everything else but that. So the problem is anyone can call themselves that, and then they demand a press pass. Other former mayors have come forward and said, you're an idiot, basically, to Mamdani. Says there's no reason why these people got a press pass. And the assistant principal of a Virginia elementary school where a 6-year-old student shot his teacher in 2023 did nothing about the fact that he had a gun, despite receiving repeated warnings from colleagues. Before the January 2023 shooting at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, school employees told Ebony Parker they believed the student had a gun in his backpack, but she ignored their concerns. Parker is now facing 8 counts of felony child neglect for her role in the incident, which wounded first-grade teacher Abby Zwerner. Parker's attorney says that if the teachers believe the kid really did have a gun, they should have at least separated the child from 19 other students in the classroom. School policy at the time required crisis situations be reported to an administrator who is required to take action. And officials in San Francisco are using an AI system to protect whales from ships. The Whale Spotter Network tracks whale blows and heat signatures all around the bay. And when they find or believe they find a whale, they track the whale, and they could hopefully, with AI, predict where it's headed and keep it safe. 58 minutes past the hour. For those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news. If you're watching ONNJ, we're coming right back. Don't go away. Very good morning, 8 a.m. on Thursday, May 21st, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking calls at 888-658-0234. What a difference in 24 hours. Rain likely today, cooler, high 60 or the low 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a full Garden State forecast. Boy, Mike, it is not yesterday.
No, and some parts of the state got whacked last night with some severe weather, the
Hey,
gusty
hey, hey, hey.
winds, the small
Whoa,
hail.
whoa. Hey, in New Jersey, we don't use the word whacked lightly. Just saying.
I know, this is true. After it really made you wonder with the storms that came through, thinking, are we already at summer? But then you look at today's forecast and go, no, it's going to feel like spring with a cooler feel. Temperatures already cooled off into the 50s there in northern New Jersey. Look at that. 20 degrees cooler than this time yesterday up in Sussex, 16 degrees cooler toward Newark, and 13 degrees cooler at the shore. So the big chill has returned. And while the temperature today doesn't really warm up all that much, we start off with just some clouds, but there's more rain on the way. So be sure to grab the umbrella before you head out the door. Some of that rain already entering northern New Jersey right there through Morris and Essex counties, and then taking its way down across the rest of the state through the lunch hour. So it's a slow moving shower that'll work its way down right to the tip of New Jersey into tonight. Then tomorrow, starting off a bit gray again, likely see most of the rain concentrated across the shore points tomorrow. There actually could be a few rounds of sun by tomorrow afternoon, just in the northeastern corner of the state. Goes back to clouds by the end of the day, and then more rain on the way for Saturday. This one's a soaker. I think Saturday is going to be pretty soggy, and it is the wetter start to the weekend because Sunday, while it begins rather wet, should clear out by the late afternoon. Really, by the time the day is done, 5, 6 o'clock, we'll get some clearing. Monday looks to be cloudy as of now. No rain forecast, just cloudy and cool. And that's the case going into the weekend. I mean, look at this. Not the ideal scenario that you want to see for a Memorial Day forecast. 50s and rain, 60s and rain on Sunday. But I think we'll squeeze out some dry weather by Monday. We'll give you those details coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, Mike. 60 degrees now, northern New Jersey. It is 60 in Trenton, so up and down the state. A little cooler in Cape May. I'm looking here. We have 58 degrees there by the water, and it is also 60 in Vineland. 8:03 is our time, and we have these issues. As Mike mentioned, the storms that came through the area last night, so that impacted a lot of roadways because we have a lot of down poles and wires. Let's see, US 1, both directions, Woodbridge Avenue, Edison. All lanes are closed with a group of down wires. They're power wires, so you can see that that's all shut down. The traffic being diverted about a mile before, which is why it's absolutely empty. Normally, that's bumper to bumper at this hour. Also, on Route 9, we have a utility pole down southbound north of Sunrise Boulevard in Lacey Township. And then over another Route 1 issue, South Brunswick, we have down wires. US 1 southbound south of Raymond Road to south of Ridge Road in South Brunswick. The right shoulder is closed. We have problems down Route 29 with a utility pole down there. It's impacting both directions north of Fiddler's Creek Road and Hopewell Township. All lanes are closed there. And then our Hudson River crossings, 139 from Route 78 into the Holland Tunnel, has been bumper to bumper all morning. That's a 40-minute commute into Manhattan with that. The Lincoln Tunnel approach on the Helix is actually moving much better, 25 minutes. But the GWB has been very heavy this morning. And now we have an issue of a disabled vehicle. It's on the GWB upper level eastbound of the left lane block. So you could see that the upper level is where the Amazon truck is on the right. Look at that. It's stopped. Lower level on the left, you see 1 or 2 lanes moving. But so if you have to be stuck in traffic going over the GWB, go to the lower level because the upper level is not moving at all right now due to the disabled vehicle on the GWB. So that's a solid. On the lower level, they're saying 45 minutes. God knows what's happening on the upper right now, but it is a mess getting into Manhattan. That is because, for those of you who don't realize, it always happens now. The day before the getaway is when everyone leaves. So today you have the traffic. Tomorrow it's going to be much better in the morning commute because people will have gone away already for the long weekend. Trust me on that one. It is 8:05. New Jersey's film industry is having a major moment right now with more productions choosing the Garden State as a backdrop for movies, television, and digital content. But what does that growth really mean for the people who live and work here? Well, that's the question explored in the new documentary, Operation: Is New Jersey the New Hollywood? From Newark-based WTH. I love the name. I love the name. It's a creative collective that started as a short film and has since grown into the WTH question mark Music and Film Festival, now celebrating its third year. Brandon Tyler, the director and producer of the documentary. That's a great name. Who came up with the WTH? That's awesome. Good morning to Brandon.
I appreciate you. Good morning, Ken. Happy to be here. And yeah, what the hell? That's basically what it stands for.
Of course.
It all started,
You didn't
yeah.
you didn't call it WTF. That's a good thing. We appreciate that.
Oh yeah,
That would
we
have been a
couldn't do
whole
that. We
that's a
need to
whole
spot
other show.
it.
So I love this. I love that you're addressing this. You did a whole shoot on this, a documentary. How did the idea for Operation Is Jersey the New Hollywood first come together?
Well, initially, I'm from Newark, New Jersey, born and raised. And when I initially heard that Hollywood studios were coming here, like Netflix, Lionsgate, it just sounded unreal to me because, from Newark, Newark is a tough place. And to say like a major Hollywood studio is coming to Newark was it's just very interesting. So I think it's something that we had to just get down to the bottom of it. So come to find out, filmmaking was invented in New Jersey. Thomas Edison built his first studio here. And once we found that kind of stuff out, we said, hey, we just need to do a whole investigation into this. And that's like the whole thing behind the documentary.
That's awesome. And what if you think about what New Jersey has, you got the two of the biggest cities in America, the largest New York, fourth largest metro area in Philadelphia on either side. You are not more than 2 hours away from anything in the entire state, right? Within 2 hours, you could be in mountains, you could be at the shore, you got lowlands, you got highlands, you got rural, you got big city. You have everything within a 2 hour drive in New York. You notice the Italian hands moving here. I can't talk without moving my hands.
See it.
Um,
I see
so, but that's the great thing about it. You have everything here. And yes, the birth of film was right here. So why not? Why not have video shot here, film shot here? This is the perfect place, which is why now we have
exactly.
what 3, 4 major studios being built here, which is just amazing. So why do you think this was the perfect time to tell the story about the New Jersey film industry?
Well, I'm big on I love history, so I think that you kind of gotta like encapsulate it and capture it within the time that it's coming. So before all of these studios come here, they're already in motion, they're already building a lot of these studios, but it's important just to capture what New Jersey looks like, what New Jersey thinks about everything, coming here. And it's just important to just tell the story because from what I've seen, we actually screened the documentary at our most recent festival in April, and so many people were like, "Hey, I never knew about this." And I think it's important for people from New Jersey to know their history and also just to know where we're going and also to be prepared for the opportunities that are going to come here.
Yeah, one of the cool things you mentioned Newark. And I lived in Belleville for a whole bunch of years, right next door. So I was in and out of Newark like every day. Newark is an
Cool.
awesome place because Newark is authentic. There's something about Newark versus like New York. New York has like fantasy stuff, Newark is real,
Yeah,
real people,
for
there's
all
the
the
tough
real.
parts of town, right? But that when you go around Newark, you're in the real deal. And I think that's probably one of the draws. If I'm shooting a film and I want to show like gritty urban inner city, it's the perfect city, more so than New York. And I'm sure Newark is more amenable to working with filmmakers because, let's just face it, we don't have 5 million people jamming onto a little island every day. It's easier to get in and out of Newark than it would be in New York. So it's like the
Well,
perfect place to shoot a film. Now, what are
yeah.
some of the real impacts you think that this industry growth could have on local communities in New Jersey?
Well, I think some of the impacts that it'll have, I think it's just going to amplify it. One going back to Newark, Newark has a bustling art scene, and there's so
Mhm.
many talented creatives in Newark. And I think that, even going back to other different cities and different parts of the state, from like, South Jersey, Central Jersey, North Jersey. Well, there actually is no Central Jersey. There's only North and South Jersey. But I think a lot of people are going to be able to benefit from this. And even people that never had any type of exposure to the film industry, they're going to be able to get exposure. And I think we're going to be serious contenders to be competing with Hollywood. But that's not what it's about. It's about cultivating our own culture in Jersey and pushing that forward so that we can continue making the name for ourselves and, keep elevating.
All right, you know what, Brandon? You just started like World War III, what you just said. There's no Central Jersey. And why don't you just tell me,
It's
is
the
it
fact.
pork roll or Taylor ham? Why don't we just keep the war going right now?
We
And
can
then get
continue the
involved with the
debate.
Italians. Go ahead. Is it gravy or sauce? Why don't we just have these? These are the debates that are now going to be on everybody's plate this weekend, thanks to Brandon.
Sure.
Brandon,
Hey,
what do you hope? Just be ready. I'm going to give him your email address. What are you hoping the viewers take away after they watch the documentary?
well, one, I think just to be inspired. Ultimately, I think that, you know, some people were never exposed to this kind of opportunities in the entertainment industry. Coming from New Jersey, of course, we're like right over the bridge from New York, but New York, Atlanta, Texas, LA, those are like the big major cities. And I think that it's important that, we understand we have some opportunity coming here. Jersey is cool. Jersey is the place to be. You're going to see a lot of people moving to New Jersey. You're going to see a lot of people, setting up shop. And it's important that, hey, we take pride in our state. And we also, hey, if people from New Jersey and they want to get into these film jobs, it's important just to be aware of it and just to be prepared because, the opportunities are going to come to the people that are prepared and, just people that stay informed. It's important
I'm with you.
just know what's going on.
Hey, Brandon, it was like I went to NYU back before we had that in New Jersey. And because I wanted to study film and television, that's where I had to go. But now the colleges in New Jersey are offering great programs for people. But you don't have to go to college to learn how to do film. You could intern and work with great groups like yourself and do this. Give everyone your website so they could see the film, the documentary, and get more info.
Yeah, so actually, the documentaries are not online yet. So you guys got to stay tuned. We have some exciting announcements that hopefully we can announce pretty soon. But other than that, you guys can stay tuned. You guys could follow us on Instagram at WTH Festival. You can follow me on Instagram at BRADG, kind of like Malibu's Most Wanted, that movie. And yeah, just stay tuned. You'll be able to see the documentary soon, and you'll be informed and you'll enjoy it for sure.
All right. Brandon, you got to come back on when that's released too. All right, we want to see it because I'm dying to see this. This is nobody documents our state. Nobody does. And the fact that you're taking this and doing this is an awesome thing. You're doing a big service to New Jersey, and I can't wait to see it personally. So, Brandon Tyler, the director and producer of the documentary Operation Is New Jersey the New Hollywood from Newark-based What the Hell? Question mark. Check him out on Instagram, and we will see you back here soon, Brandon. Thanks for coming on, and all the best with it.
All right. Thank you, Ken.
You bet. It is now 60 degrees, 8:14. When we come back, a wellness advocate and host of Level Up with Rain, likely today. What? Look at that. I messed up my own script. A wellness advocate is coming. You see what I did talking about rain coming up today? That's the forecast. Anyway, we will talk to a wellness advocate coming up in just a minute. Don't go away. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:16. Rain likely today. It'll be cooler. Highs about 60. A lot different from yesterday. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike, sir.
Morning, Ken. Kind of looking at that UV and going, oh man, making the weather graphics, looking up the weather, and I see that yesterday we had the UV of an 8, right? Only gets to a 9 as the highest this time of year as we head toward the summer solstice. Today, 2.
I was
2.
going to say
That's
0.
it. So close. I know. You just look
It's
outside
so
and go,
low.
oh,
It's so low. It's sucking the UV out of our hearts. It's like the energy is coming from our souls.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
all right.
we're gonna have to get our vitamin D elsewhere for the coming
Right,
future, at least for
exactly.
the next 6 days, because the weather is looking rather gray all across the shore points. Look at this, the temperatures in the 60s, coming off of the 90s yesterday. Of course, we have some more rain in the forecast. Even though it's not raining right now, those showers are working their way south across New Jersey, starting their way up in northern New Jersey first, right up there towards Sussex, Warren, Morrison, Hunterdon counties, and then slowly migrating across the state for the rest of the morning. So plan on that wet weather today. Plan on more wet weather tomorrow. Low UV. I have a feeling, Ken, you're onto something, especially with that 0 UV by the time we get to Saturday, because there is very little chance of dry weather for the first half of the weekend. It's just this train of moisture that works its way over New Jersey over the coming days, giving us our steady rains for the weekend, especially tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow in northern New Jersey might have some dry periods, maybe even some breaks of sun. And this is the part where I know everybody's going to go, well, these meteorologists, they don't know what they're talking about. It's sunny and 70 degrees in Hackensack. What do you mean rain? Yet the folks down the shore that actually paid for the rentals and are going to the beach are socked in with 55 and rainy conditions. So it's a tale of very different stories tomorrow afternoon across New Jersey, especially if you plan to go across the shore points. Now, Saturday morning, that's when the rain begins early on before sunrise, stays wet all day long with the steady showers, and Sunday is also wet. However, I think Monday there's a light at the end of the very long dark tunnel because we could start to break out into some clear patchy breaks of sky with drier conditions from Monday morning into the afternoon. There are some more showers ahead into Tuesday, but I think Wednesday is finally when we break this stubborn pattern and see some clearing, and that'll take us into Thursday. So a whole 6 days of potentially wet and cloudy weather. And this weekend, a lot of rain ahead. We'll tell you more about it coming up, Ken, in a few minutes.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. At 8:19, temperature 60 degrees, northern New Jersey. It is 60 degrees also in Trenton, 60 degrees in Vineland, 59 degrees Cape May at 8:19. And in terms of traffic, still a lot of issues because of the storms that went through last night. As Mike was telling us, we have down wires and down utility poles all over the place. Just hit a few of them. Down wires, US 1, both directions south of Woodbridge Avenue and Edison. All lanes are closed. The camera's now down. So, oh no, the camera's back up. Thank you for that, Pam. It was down for quite a while, I think, because of the overhead wires being down. But look at the mess it's caused in the area there. Everything being rerouted because of those down wires. Also, down wires on US 1 southbound, south of Raymond Road to south of Ridge Road, South Brunswick Township. Right shoulder is closed there, and you can see the massive traffic being caused as a result of that. Over to Route 9, we have a utility pole down southbound north of Sunrise Boulevard, Lacey Township, all lanes closed in that area. And then the GWB. If you take the GWB, go right to the GWB, Cam, if you don't mind, Pam. Disabled vehicle now, GWB upper level, eastbound into New York. So that's the right side of your screen, just bumper to bumper. Left side is not moving much better. We're told it's about a 45-minute ride into Manhattan on the GWB. Lincoln is only 25, and the Holland is a solid 35 right now. It is 8:21. And joining us now is Lauren Wright, wellness advocate and host of Level Up with Lauren at the Barn. Lauren turned a personal health crisis into a wellness platform that's inspiring people to take control of their health, healing, and mindset. We say good morning to you, Lauren. Good to have you on.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I love that intro.
And I could see you, of course, in the setup cameras off to the right. I could see when I flubbed my T's, I could see the smile on your face because it's like, yeah, I do this. I know what he just did. I get that. I love that, people who do this can get it. We were radically and crazily trying to reformat the show as we were live on the air. And of course, I eliminated half a paragraph. It is what it is. It's
No worries.
not network television. It's all good. So tell us about what happened 6 years ago that changed everything in your life and everything for you.
Yeah, so I've been on a pretty incredible healing journey the last 6 years of my life. It actually started with a root canal 6 years ago. I had a root canal process, and right after we closed up the whole procedure, my body started to short circuit. I started to have thyroid issues, hormone issues, gut issues. Every time I was eating foods, my skin was burning. I was breaking out in rashes. And it was extremely unsettling, to say the least. It was pretty scary. And I found that no doctors were connecting any dots. No one was helping me figure this out. And it really was forcing me to really advocate for myself. And I really had to take my health into my own hands. I had to become the CEO of my own health and start figuring things out on my own. And I started connecting dots and researching, and I was able to work with some incredible healers in the mind, body, and spirit space. And I really came a long way with it. And I felt really compelled in everything that I was learning to share this information with people so that they could advocate for themselves and become the CEOs of their own health, which what inspired me to launch a Instagram page and being able to express all this information in a really intentional way, an artistic way that felt authentic and that could be easily digestible and relatable for others to take and to run with.
Lauren, when somebody encounters something like that, you can go in two different directions. You could either just have a panic attack and not know what to do or where to turn, or you could do what you did, as you said, be the CEO of your own health. Did you ever have a moment, though, before when you were at the point of panic thinking, where do I turn? Who do I talk to at this point?
Oh, I definitely was in panic mode for a good portion of time, because I think, in life, you are taught to look to doctors until, for help and guidance. And when you're not getting what you need, it can make you feel extremely alone and not knowing how to go about your next steps. And there was definitely panic that set in, but I think with my personality, I quickly spun that and was like, all right, we don't have time for this, Lauren. Like, we have to figure this out. And I'm a big believer that in life, things are happening for you and not to you. And, now being on the other side of it 6 years later, I'm really realizing, like, wow, this journey is exactly what it was supposed to be. And look at everything you're doing now with it.
So, Lauren, at what point did you decide you wanted to share your journey publicly, and what has the reaction been? Have you gotten a lot of people who say, I'm going through that exact thing and I didn't know where to turn? What's the reaction been?
The reaction has been pretty incredible. I think with my journey and how I'm able to articulate things and the authenticity that I speak from, I think it's extremely relatable, and I think it's refreshing, frankly. And I think there's a lot of people who are very frustrated with traditional models of healthcare. And I think it's been inspiring for people. And my job is not to tell anyone that what they're doing is right or wrong. It's literally for me to share what my journey has been and my learnings, and to kind of create that light bulb moment for people where they're like, wait a second, like, I've experienced that, or I have had that notion, or that's crossed my mind. And then they can kind of take that information and, go down whatever path they want to, and hopefully starting their own healing process.
Amazing. And I can't even imagine how many people you've impacted and helped by doing that. And I know your podcast is filmed. You're in New Jersey. We won't say where, just like I don't say where. I'm in northern New Jersey, and we don't want to hey, come on and ring the front doorbell. But the podcast is filmed in an incredible barn that you built on your property. How did that dream come together, building that and putting together your studio?
It is a dream. So I knew after rolling out my Instagram page that the secondary rollout was going to be a podcast. I kind of wanted to get comfortable in the social media space in a public forum. Social media can be a little daunting. And once I got my bearings and the wheels started turning and spinning, I knew that the podcast was going to be the second rollout. I felt very called to sit down with fascinating people in a more private setting to really have more in-depth personal conversations. And it really was a seed of an idea that I knew I wasn't going to film this out of my house. I knew I wasn't going to film it in a business setting. And for my personality and my aura, I do very well in nature. And I knew that whatever it was I was going to do, it needed to be an external nature setting. And I had an idea of a barn, and my husband and I manifested it, and we literally put it into fruition, and we built this incredible structure in our backyard. And it's literally a dream. And I put a podcast studio in it, and it's been really wild. You know, when I sit in there and I conduct these interviews, I'm like, you really did this, Lauren. Like, look at how far you've come in your journey. And it's allowed me to really have deep, meaningful conversations that not only are inspiring to me, but are deeply inspiring to those that are listening.
That is very, very cool. And you're being a real person with real experiences. It makes such a difference than like a generic news presenter, having been the generic news presenter myself. And I look back at the early film or video of myself, and I'm like, you know, were you really communicating something from the heart or just reading words on paper? You are communicating from the heart. Talk about, we have about a minute left. So just quickly tell us about some of the interviews you gravitate toward. You had Dr. Charles Violati from Villa Marie Claire Hospice, resonating with people with the story. So talk about how a conversation like that is so important to you.
Yeah, my interview with Dr. Violati was deeply impactful. He's the medical director of Villa Marie Claire, which is a hospice facility in northern New Jersey. And I felt very called to speak to him about what happens in the in-between when somebody is, you know, nearing their end of life. What happens when you're in that passageway between earth and heaven? And Dr. Violati's perspective is fascinating to me because he really comes from a traditional medical background. But what him and his staff are experiencing within that villa is very hard to put into words. It is a very spiritual experience. And I was blessed in which I was able to have time with my grandmother, who spent about a week there before she passed. And I very quickly realized that I was really watching the unwinding of a soul. And I was watching this transition happening between here and there. And it is a very profound experience. Dr. Violati is, in my opinion, a guardian of a soul's last chapter. And he really has opened up my eyes to the notion that end of life is about living and it's not about dying. And there's so much beauty and grace and connection that happens at end of life. And it was not only deeply impactful for me, I know it was deeply impactful for Dr. Violati with our conversation. And it's one of those conversations that I think will stay with me forever. You know, we're all going to die one day. But to know what really happens at end of life and where we transition to, it's a very, very special experience. And it was one for the books.
And that helps get rid of some of the fears of, I think we fear what we don't know, right? So that helps dispel some of the myths and get rid of some of the fears. We're down to 10 seconds. Lauren, I want everybody to know how to find the website, et cetera. What is a website so they can see your podcast?
My Instagram handle is levelup_with Lauren, and my podcast, Level Up with Lauren at the Barn, is on all streaming networks.
Beautiful. Lauren Wright, wellness advocate, host of Level Up with Lauren at the Barn. What amazing stories. We got to have you on because there's so much we didn't get to today in the short amount of time, but please come back. I want to talk more with you, okay?
Thank you so much, Ken.
You bet. Have a great day. Thanks for coming on. It is now 60 degrees, 8:29. When we come back, we'll speak with a woman who's helping women rethink everything. Phone lines are open, 888-658-0234. You're coming back in 2 minutes. morning, Thursday, May 21st, 2026, 60 degrees, 8:31 right now. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Meteorologist Mike Favetta. It's funny, the temperature has not budged a tenth of a degree all
Mm-mm.
morning. So it's pretty much going to be this way all day, right?
Oh, it's probably going to go down with some rain that comes in the next few minutes. So, yeah, not looking great, Ken. Just very steady, very gray. Even at the shore points with that breeze coming off of the water, temperatures hold in the 60s today. It'll feel chilly with that wind and rain lasting throughout the next few days. Today starts to see a little bit of wet weather with those gusts right now, upwards of 20 miles per hour at the beaches. Could see a 30-mile-per-hour gust off of a 51-degree Atlantic Ocean. So, very chilly weather. And that wind keeps coming in from the east, allowing those clouds and showers to keep on rolling through. The only good news is that it keeps the pollen lower, so we're back down to the moderate and low levels of allergens from grasses, weeds, trees, and even molds. But over the next few days, we'll see them pretty low, even as the sun rises nice and early, the sun sets nice and late. Won't be able to enjoy a lot of that sun, especially with more rain that's moving through right now. So here are the showers working their way through northern New Jersey. They slide across the state through the next several days, giving us our high chances of rain right up there. Saturday and Sunday, up around 80, 70%. And then we see a drop off with some drier weather arriving about 6 days from now. That's how long it takes to clear out this very stubborn weather system. So day after day, we see the rain chances. I think tomorrow, northern New Jersey has a pretty good chance of breaking out into some sunshine, whereas the southern half of the state stays wet. And then it's right back to the rain for all of New Jersey all throughout the day on Saturday, and then again into Sunday with system after system plaguing us with these showers. I think Monday has a better chance of seeing some brighter skies with some drier weather. But until that time, plan on getting wet. Monday gets to a high of 75, little break in the clouds, and then we're back up in the 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday. So it takes some time. It's the shore points that also look really chilly because that wind off of the water brings in some of that cooler feeling air, and we'll be stuck in the 70s at best, I think, going into the second half of the weekend, Ken.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Mike. 8:34 is our time. We have a temperature 60 degrees up and down the state, pretty much the same no matter where you go in New Jersey. We have a few issues on the roadways just popped up. A lot of downed wires and utility poles, so be careful. You might turn down a street, boom, you're going to be confronted with that. So we have a utility pole down on US 40, both directions east of Franklin Avenue, Egg Harbor Township. So this is down the shore bit. All lanes are closed now on Route 40, Egg Harbor Township. Jersey Turnpike, we just got an overturned vehicle reported in a roadway northbound north of interchange 12, which is by Carteret Rawway in Linden, 2 right lanes blocked there. US 1, we have down wires, both directions impacted south of Woodbridge Avenue, Edison. All lanes are closed. So you can see that's been that way much of the morning. Over to US 9, we have a utility pole down southbound north of Sunrise Boulevard, Lacey Township. All lanes are closed. And back to US 1, different location. This is down wires southbound, south of Raymond Road to south of Ridge Road, South Brunswick. Right shoulder's closed, and that's impacting traffic quite a bit, as you can see there. We have problems now on 139 coming from Route 78 into the Holland Tunnel. So these are your Hudson River crossings, and this has been heavy a good chunk of the morning. It's going to cost you a solid 40 minutes in via the Holland Tunnel into Manhattan. The Lincoln Tunnel approach is actually much better into the Helix. That's only about 20 to 25 minutes in. And the GWB upper and lower level, very, very heavy. There was a stalled vehicle on the upper level. Look at, you could see the upper level stopped on the right side of the screen. That's going to cost you solid 45 minutes into Manhattan. Lower level is on the left. 8:36, and joining us now is Nikki Stott, the women's health and fitness expert and co-founder of Warrior Babe. Nikki is helping women rethink everything they've been told about dieting, metabolism, long-term health, especially for women over 40. Now, instead of extreme calorie restriction and endless cardio, she's focused on strength training and proper nutrition and building sustainable habits that actually support the body long term. Nikki, good morning. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, Ken. I'm happy to be here.
Well, speaking to you as a man who used to be 360 pounds, and I am exactly half my former body weight, I tried all of that stuff. Tried the calorie restriction, that lasts 2 days. And then you gain it all back and then some. Tried the low-fat dieting, which was the big deal in the 90s. Everything was low fat, no fat, low fat, no. So I was eating carbohydrates that like came out of my nose. That didn't work. But I love your holistic approach and your strength training and your muscle building and how that impacts your metabolic future. So talk about that.
Yeah, well, that's an incredible journey that you've been on. Yeah, this is a topic that I'm truly obsessed with. I think that the calorie restriction that women have been so led down to believe, like it's individuals who chronically undereat, like the body is so smart, like it's really smart, and it reads restriction as threats. So when you're eating less and when you're restricting food, it's slowing down your metabolism to protect you, and then it adapts to a lower intake, and then that starts to hold your body starts to hold on to fat because it's literally thinking it's in survival mode. And then the body, like, it needs energy on a daily basis, so it's going to find that energy. It wants it from food, because that's where fuel comes from for the body, but then it starts breaking down your muscle for energy instead, which a lot of women don't know this is happening internally. So then people, like, they step on the scale, the number looks like it's going down, so they think it's working, but what's actually happening is women are losing muscle during this. And now they have less of it, which means their metabolism is even slower than when it started.
Muscle and of course day to day they could also lose a lot of water. And you look at, I mean, if you drop 3 pounds in a day, you've likely just peed out a lot of fluid, right? I mean, you didn't suddenly burn 3 pounds of fat in a day. That did not happen. And I think that misleads a lot of people. I think, oh, I'm doing the right thing I didn't eat in 2 days. That's great. And you've just shut down your metabolism, right, in that 2 day period. And your body is craving, your body needs food, but it needs the right food. So you talk about, I love that you hit this chronic under eating thing, because that is what we've heard our whole lives. Just eat less. No, it's about eating the right foods, correct?
Yeah, it's about eating the right foods. It's about focusing on, like, especially for women over 40, like when we're entering into perimenopause and menopause, the entire hormonal environment game changes. So the ability to get and focus on protein, carbs, and fats for what your body needs. Like, it's not like I'm big on eat more, not less, but it's not like you eat a ton of the wrong types of foods. It's about strategically knowing what your body needs, but also more for the women, like in this stage of life, they need to focus on eating protein, because in this space, a lot of women undereat in their protein intake on a daily basis.
And if you want to become osteoporotic as you get older, you want to have brittle bones, just keep starving yourself. That is what you're going to end up with. You're going to be hunched over. You're going to have broken hips when you're in your 70s, and that's what you don't want. So you're a great advocate for strength training and building or toning muscle. And we're not talking for women who say, I don't want that big muscular look. We're not talking about that. We're talking about toning the muscle and maintaining muscle. You love my Italian American women sound. You think I get that from experience, huh? So how important is that just a little bit of strength toning on a regular basis, and how essential is that, especially for women as they're getting older?
Yeah, well, this is what happens, Ken. After the age of 30, our muscle mass declines by like 3 to 8% every decade. So it's so important. Like, I used to work in the emergency room. I was a nurse before the fitness space, and I used to see women coming in with broken hips, and osteoporosis was just, like, adding into their life now. So strength training is just so important, because muscle for longevity is I believe it's like the organ of longevity. Actually, Dr. Gabriel Lyons says that. So women who strength train in their 40s and their 50s are literally building a body that functions better when they're in their 60s and their 70s. And that's like the long game that nobody talks about. So focusing on, building more muscle, not only too does that help for longevity, but it also helps for a faster metabolism too as well. Meaning we can burn calories while we're just like hanging out, like me talking to you right now, I'm burning calories.
Right. Well, look, I speak also as a guy who has an 88-year-old mother, 95-year-old dad, both very much alive right now. And mom has always worked out, always worked out. Dad was a Marine. Mom today still eats her proteins, her salads. She is ridiculous about her diet, really, and I mean that in a good way. And just to give you an idea, she broke her pelvis. She healed up in like 6 weeks. She didn't let it stop her. She's fine. She's driving. She's doing. But that's because she's been working out for years. She takes it seriously. And she has friends who, are not in the greatest shape. And she is just My mother looks like she's 30 years younger than she is, but that's so essential. Nutrition, exercise. It can't just be something we talk about. It's something you have to do, and you got to keep that protein intake up as well, don't you?
Yes, it's very important, especially because it's lean muscle is what holds your body together as you age. And then what protein does and what is literally the building block of that muscle. Like if you're not eating your adequate amount of protein on a daily basis, your body isn't being able to rebuild that muscle that you just broke down inside of the gym. Like you're not building muscle in the gym, you're breaking it down. So when you're in the gym, you're breaking down the muscle fibers, and then post the gym is with the nutrition that you're eating and protein is where you're building it back up. So essentially it's really important, the both of them, strength training and protein together.
I love it. And you, by the way, you don't have to do big bulky weights. There's a lot of toning. Go online, look at Nikki Stott's sites, and you'll find out how you could stay toned and keep those muscles moving and eat properly. Give everybody your website, Nikki, please.
Yes, it's warriorbabe.com.
I love it. Nikki Stott, women's health and fitness expert. Look right there. This is how, look at her. That's how you can be if you eat right and you work out. Fitness expert, co-founder of Warrior Babe. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. You are an inspiration.
Ken, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
You bet. Anytime. Please come back. 8:43 right now. When we come back, our friends at AARP New Jersey will bring us a segment on how to navigate changes in the SNAP and Medicaid programs as we speak with the Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Dr. Stephen Cha. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 8:45, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta in with our final check of the morning of the full Garden State forecast and looking ahead to the Memorial Day weekend. Mike, not the greatest,
Yeah,
is it?
Ken. No, it's not. It's not super. I'd love it if you like some rain, you like some wet weather. Maybe Netflix and chill. I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot of outdoor things to do when you have about an inch to two of rain falling just on the day on Saturday, and then you add Sunday's forecast. Look at that yellow spread across New Jersey. 2 to 4 inches of rain expected down the shore, up to 4 inches of rain over the next several days. So a lot of water spread out over this time period. Now, granted, this is water that we could use, obviously not ideal for the timing given it's right during the middle of our holiday weekend with the 1 to 2 inch rainfall deficit for most of the state. Yes, obviously the drought is still present south of 195, but I think that'll come down, especially in the next few weeks as the rain takes over today. Northern New Jersey sees those showers return. The good news is that the longer range forecast has some drier weather ahead. So maybe next weekend we'll try for a take two, if you will, of the holiday weekend, especially trying to get out toward, do some outdoor activities. Notice that dry weather and warm weather persists through the end of the month. Not to be found this weekend, however. By Monday, we'll start to see some breaks in the clouds, maybe get some brightening of the skies. We're back in the 80s come Tuesday, and the end of next week looks nice and dry. So it's going to take some time to clear things out, even at the shore, where that wet weather remains right through this weekend, Ken.
Right, Mike. There you have it. There you have it. I see that chilly board up there. I just can't believe it's. I see 60s
Yeah.
like that as we're coming close to June. All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. Enjoy your Memorial Day
You
weekend,
too.
a memorable Memorial Day, and I mean that in a very good way because we say Happy Memorial Day to people, and we're talking about people who
Mm,
died fighting for our country. So do
right.
something nice for some help a vet, even if you just do something nice for other people in honor of those who fought and died for us. That would be a nice way to remember them. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate you. All right. Mike's going to be busy with two babies under 16 months. That's or 17 months now. I don't know how old Nino is now, but Nino and Enzo, God bless, and poor Steph at home, probably exhausted. It is 8:48 right now. Just a quick check of traffic. We have a crash, overturned vehicle two. It's on the Turnpike Inner Roadway northbound, north of Interchange 12 by Carter Rawway in Linden. A right lane is blocked there. Over on Route 40, utility pole down, both directions impacted by Franklin Ave, East Harbor Township. All lanes are closed. And then two issues on US 1. One is downed wires, both directions impacted south of Woodbridge Avenue, Edison. All lanes are closed there. Then we move a few miles away, and there are downed wires on US 1 southbound from south of Raymond Road to south of Ridge Road in South Brunswick. Right shoulder is closed there, and that's been the case since last night because of the storms that we had that moved through. Route 9 utility pulled down also due to the storms. Southbound north of Sunrise Boulevard in Lacey Township, all lanes are closed. Route 29 utility pulled down both directions north of Fiddler's Creek Road and Hopewell, all lanes closed there. And then we have problems on your Hudson River crossings. Lincoln is now your best bet at 20 minutes in, but the Holland Tunnel is 35 to 40 in, just bumper to bumper traffic going into the tubes. And GWB upper and lower levels, we had an overturned vehicle. A disabled vehicle on the upper level, which is the right side. That's been cleared, but you still have residual delays. Going to cost you 40 minutes into Manhattan, as you can see. Upper level on the right, lower level on the left. It is 8:49 right now. And now the following segment brought to you by our friends at AARP New Jersey. Medicaid and SNAP benefits are critical resources for so many families across New Jersey. But with recent updates and changes, many residents may have questions about what these changes mean for them and what steps they need to take to maintain coverage and benefits. Dr. Stephen Cha is Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Human Services. We say good morning to you, Dr. Cha.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Nice to have you on, sir. And there are major changes happening now with Medicaid this year. So explain what those changes are, please.
Sure. So just backing up, about 1.85 million New Jersey residents are enrolled in NJ Family Care, which is our New Jersey version of Medicaid. Now, about 30% of those New Jersey residents, about 540,000, got coverage through the Affordable Care expansion, and that's exciting and fantastic. Those folks, however, will be subject to new eligibility requirements under what we call HR 1, the budget bill that was passed by Congress last year. So this budget bill creates new requirements for all those people, all those 540,000 people. We're worried, and some people have projected that we may lose as many as 330,000 New Jerseyans who could lose NJ Family Care due to these new federal burdens. And we're really concerned about that and trying to work with folks to make sure folks are tracking on that.
And for folks who may not understand what HR 1 was, under the Trump administration, there was some Medicaid fraud in pockets of the country. And unfortunately, because of a few people who were the bad guys, the good people who desperately need Medicaid now may slip through the cracks. And that's what stinks. These people desperately need Medicaid, and they may go to get health coverage in an emergency and find out, oh, you're no longer eligible. So what is it that every few months they have to kind of renew again and kind of reprove that they need to stay on Medicaid?
That's exactly right. And so, just to be clear, a lot of these changes don't start for some time. So we have time. This isn't a tomorrow thing. Most of these changes start to take effect. Certain undocumented immigrant populations start to lose coverage in October of this year. The bigger changes start in January of next year. But we want to be sure that people are understanding what's happening and what we're doing now in partnership to be sure people can tackle some of these challenges. Just as you said,
Gotcha.
we're going to have more federal burdens. They're going to have to prove that they're working, what they call community engagement requirements. And it's going to happen every 6 months. Most people are used to doing this every year. For that
Right.
540,000 who got coverage through the Affordable Care Act, that 30%, you're going to have to do it every 6 months starting in January. So it's good to begin the conversation now about what that's going to mean.
So your team is active right now in helping residents navigate the updates and make sure that people don't accidentally lose coverage, because you don't want to be in a catastrophic accident, find out you're not covered.
That's exactly right. So the governor's budget, which is before the legislature now, invests in systems and partnerships to prevent these unnecessary coverage losses. And I should be clear that those folks who are going to lose coverage, that 330,000 New Jerseyans that I talked about, the vast majority of them are still eligible. They're still eligible for coverage. It's just that they're not going to get through all the paperwork hurdles and burdens that are now put upon them because of that HR1 bill that was passed. So the governor's budget puts about 10 million more to strengthen the coordination amongst state agencies and counties. And counties are the front door for a lot of these benefits. To invest in some vendors to help us modernize our systems. And it also includes 71 million, because one of the other things the bill did was just remove money from the administrative cost for the SNAP, the nutrition benefits. So the governor's budget puts 71 million to support those county agencies, again, because they are our front door for both nutrition and health benefits to get people access. So we're just trying to focus for the rest of the year to make our systems work better, to take these investments in both county partnerships and our vendors and make this work better for people. We want all eligible residents to stay on the program as much as we can.
Sadly, so many people who are on Medicaid are the very people who are unable to get the mail, read the mail, figure out multiple pages of complex forms, fill them out, get it. Those are the people that need the help the most. And unfortunately, they're the ones we're obviously most concerned about. But what should people do if they get that renewal paperwork or notice in the mail? What's the first thing they need to do?
Yeah, so we're going to be reaching out to contact all of our beneficiaries by fall 2026 of this year with more information. And again, for 70% of our beneficiaries, don't need to do a thing. Don't worry, relax. For those people who got coverage through the ACA, there's a bunch of hoops and hurdles that you have to go through, and we'll be giving you more information if those changes apply to you. But yeah, I got to say, it is hard to track mail, and we understand that's challenging. We'll have customer service lines open. We're already talking to community partners and trying to think about how we can get those messages out, talking to our providers and hospitals. But watch for your letters, emails, text. Make sure your contact information is up to date, and be sure you open and respond to all that mail as soon as possible. We're starting to send some of those alerts out now just to get people prepared, but we do have some months before people really need to take action.
Yeah, for people who don't realize, Medicaid is almost half the budget. And not just this state, but most states around the country. Medicaid is huge because healthcare is so expensive. We kind of started to deal with it in the last couple of decades, and we kind of dropped the ball. And this is still a major problem. Doctor, if people have questions or need help with Medicaid or SNAP, where can they go? What website can they go to, or whom can they contact right now?
Absolutely. You can call the NJ Family Care customer service at 800-701-0710, or go to our website at dhs.nj.gov. So we're here to help support people. We want to make sure that your contact information is up to date, and make sure that both, and we didn't talk about the SNAP, but more than 800,000 New Jersey residents also rely on SNAP, and we're seeing projected benefits losses as well because of that budget bill. So it's both nutrition and the healthcare that we're really trying to figure out how we can move forward here.
Wow. Well, thankfully, you're on top of it and helping so many people out. Dr. Stephen Cha, Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Human Services. Thank you for this very important information, and thanks for coming on this morning.
Appreciate you.
Dr. Cha is great. Fantastic interview. Thank you, sir. It is 8:56, and it is Memorial Day weekend coming up. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says, not a lot of sun. We will likely have rain today, certainly cooler than it was the last few days. Pam, our director, is overjoyed right now. Highs only like 60, 61 all day today. In fact, Mike says as the rain comes through today, it'll actually get cooler at times into the upper 50s. And that is on New Jersey Mornings for your Thursday, May 21st, 2026. Again, through the weekend, it's going to be mostly cloudy, a lot of rain on and off, etc. So not the greatest Memorial Day weekend. Just remember the purpose of the weekend, to memorialize those who have died for us. That's all that matters. Love your family, love your neighbors, be nice to people who need help. And that's how you can honor the people who fought and died to protect us and give us the freedom to have a day off on Monday and enjoy. All right. Remember, you can stream us at onnj.com, onlaca.com, onfla.com, Roku, Fire TV, News on, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, X, Substack, Rumble, Twitch, and Local Now. We'll catch you again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Tell all your friends about us. Till then, have a great day.